Event with the Chris and Sandy Show. We get up close and personal with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I said, on every episode, we got a great one for you. Who do we have?
We have Katryna Alexis with us today. She is a 17-year-old recording artist, singer, and songwriter. She signed a record deal with Nashville Entertainment Weekly Records to promote her music on radio worldwide in January 2021. She released her first album called The Story of Us in October of 21. Through her singing, Katryna is actively raising awareness for foster care, adoption, and autism.
And we're excited to have her on the show. We're going to talk about all that and more. So welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. You know, I always like to start the show out the same way. Last 18, 20 months have been rough for a lot of people.
Yes, it has.
So how has COVID affected what you do, and what have you done to maneuver through this?
So, when COVID first came out, obviously I had been performing all throughout my hometown, and, I didn't really know what to do not being able to perform out there because, social media influence hadn't really become a thing yet. So I really took time in COVID to sit down and figure out what I wanted to do as an artist, what I wanted to put out there, what I wanted to do with my free time. And I found a love for songwriting during that time. It was a good time to sit down. We're all trapped inside anyway, so might as well pick up good old pen and paper and just start writing. And I had originally written my first song when I was in 8th grade, so I was about 14 at the time. And during COVID, I was like, let's make this a little bit more mature for my age now. I'm now 16 years old. And I fell in love with songwriting though. And COVID really allowed me to progress my songwriting from, writing about, Christmas trees and little kid things to now more things that I've gone through in my life. And so, yes, kind of stunk that I wasn't able to go out there and really sing around town, but I was able to reach a whole new platform, which was on the internet.
And what's great about all this is, if technology's always been here, but we never really used it. But what's great is, I think the future is you're going to have your live concerts and they're going to stream it to Facebook and all the different things. So now you can perform for not just your local people that's at the place, but also people around the world.
Yes.
And I think it's such a great mesh because, the great thing is even on local level, some people still will not go to concerts. Well, you've got a place for them still. You can still do what you do, what you love to do, and be there face to face, but they can still be part of it. That's like for us, we started this show January of 2020. So a couple months before COVID. And our original plan was maybe 100 interviews first year. And then COVID happens. And I'm like, okay, watching everything get shut down. I was like, this might be our time to shine.
Yes.
So we just reached out to anybody and everybody back then. And we're over 500 interviews now.
Wow, that's so good.
And we just hit 2 years.
We did on January 3rd.
So it's
like it was definitely a big change, but a lot of good came out of it. We were able to work with new technology, meet people throughout the whole entire globe. Just from sitting in your room or your bathroom or something like that, you're able to reach a whole new audience, which was really, really cool experience.
And I think it's helped songwriters out a lot too, because although they still would rather be face to face, but now if there's not an option to be face to face, you know what? Let's jump on Zoom or whatever and let's write. So it's definitely been a game changer, I think, for the future of entertainment. Now, a lot of people would ask, when did you know you wanted to do music? But I like to go deeper than that. When did it click that this could be a career move for you?
So I love this question because, everyone's like, oh, I grew up singing or like, but I was 7 years old and I had entered myself into a singing competition at my school. And I told my parents and they looked at me and they were so confused because I had never sung a day in my life. So they just kind of were like, okay, I guess we can try to figure out to do something. And, they were super stressed for me. They didn't want me to get my heart ripped out or anything. And so I go up there, little 7-year-old me, and I ended up placing 3rd.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, oh, okay. So she has some potential. And the choir director at the time asked me to go sing for their adult choir. And I was like, okay, I'm 7. That's something definitely new for me. And so it kind of just clicked into my mind, well, this is kind of something I want to do. And as time went through and I was able to meet more people and kind of travel around my hometown and kind of perform more, I was like, this is something that I love to do.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
I love that story because, again, I can't, as parents, we got a 10-year-old and a almost 3-year-old.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, okay, what would I do if she turned 7 and said, I want to enter, and we never heard her sing? I don't know.
Yeah, what would we do that? We'd have to
I guess we would let her
it,
try it. But, again, it's like, we don't even know what she sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that story.
Awesome.
So as you know, a lot of people, they see the glory in what you do, but they don't see the grind, the sacrifice, the tears, the struggles it takes to get to any level within music. And I always want to talk about that side of it because I think sometimes people, they have this facade of what it really is to be a musician, but we want to break that, because because there's so much work involved. So take a few moments just to tell us a little bit about some of the sacrifices and struggles you've had to go through to get to where you are today.
Really just, at first singing out there is really, it's scary for anyone who originally starts. You're putting your own passion out there for people to see, and you're going to get criticism, and, you're going to get a lot of feedback that may be good feedback and maybe bad feedback, something that you're not ready really to hear. For me at the time, I've always played sports throughout my life. I've played basketball, volleyball, softball. And so I finally got to that point in my life where I had to choose, do you want to play sports or do you want to continue singing? Because it was impossible to, really give your 100% to both of them. Yeah. So I had to quit playing sports, but, I loved my music. And then even just, writing songs and putting them out there, you're giving a lot of your own personal thoughts, your own personal feelings for the world to hear. And that even opens a more broader selection of people to criticize your work. And, putting in hours upon hours writing songs in the recording studio, trying to figure out the certain vibe that you want for the song, just to, hear sometimes people are like, that's just not what we wanted to hear. We don't like it. It's kind of heartbreaking at some points. Even being a student, a full-time student and singing, it's difficult sometimes. Like, you want to go to a school dance or you want to hang out with your friends at certain times, but you have to be in the recording studio that night and you can't go. Or, you have a big singing event that you can't cancel. So I'm lucky enough to have parents that have helped me find a good balance between having a social life and still doing what I love, which is singing. So there has not been too much that I've had to give up because I've made those decisions. But there are certain times where you really sit back as an artist and realize, this is scary. But you get up on that stage and there's no other feeling like that in the whole world.
Now, how do you handle, being 17? Now, in our day, social media, of course, didn't exist. Right. So I can't even imagine growing up in this age right now. So, because people can hide behind a thing and criticize you and all that, and you don't even know who they are. And how do you handle that side of it? Because we all get it.
So actually, I'm now 18. I'm actually 18 years old now. Oh, you're good.
Because the bio.
No, I put the wrong age in the bio. I put the wrong age in the bio. So, but no, I completely understand. Having social media has been a good and a bad thing. It's great because, you are able to share your music globally now. It's really easy to get up there on Spotify and Apple Music and be able to promote your music. But then you are going to have people that hide behind a screen because, I've just kind of narrowed down to either they're jealous or they have nothing better to do with their time besides sit there and criticize someone who's put in the hard work. Just because it may not be the music that they want to hear doesn't mean it's not someone else's music.
Exactly.
And for me, I really try to songwrite so that people are able to relate. On my album, I have songs that are more serious, more, hard-hitting topics. My song Stop was for mental health awareness, and, especially during COVID, during that time. And then I have more songs for, upbeat summer fun with your friends. And, I've had people tell me, oh, well, I didn't want to hear that song Stop. It was too slow. You're a teenager. But then I've had the older audience who was like, that needs to be more talked about. That needs to be said more. So I've just, my music isn't going to be everyone's favorite. And I've realized that. But for me, it's something that I enjoy to do. It's my outlet in this world. And as long as one person out there can relate to it and understand it and really tell me that it moved them, that's all I'm really looking for.
Oh,
And I
wow.
love that
Yes.
because, I don't understand when people do that. Well, just because it's not your taste doesn't mean it's not other people. Like, especially
Right.
with country music, it's so broad now. You got your traditionalists that think anything outside of that is garbage. And I'm like, you know what I like about country music is we've got your traditional country. We've got your, your
Modern,
modern
yeah,
country, the contemporary. My
country,
mind was
yeah.
going blank here.
Yeah.
And we got all the forms of it. We got the Christian
Right.
country, and all
Ooh,
that
yeah, rock
country.
yeah,
Yeah.
So
soulful
we have all the
country, yeah.
different countries, and I think that's what's been
Mhm.
great about country music is it blends
It
everything
does.
into one. So no matter who you are, there's a place for you.
Absolutely, yeah.
So what are you doing now to kind of move you forward from this point?
So after I released my album, I got some really good feedback that I love to hear. But I am now a senior in high school. I'm entering my second semester, and I do really want to go to college.
Mhm.
I would love to
Yeah.
be a child psychiatrist.
Oh, wow.
Writing stop for me was a big deal because it's something that I'm very passionate about, really getting to people's minds and knowing that a lot of people every day put up, a fake face just to get out there and live in this world.
Mhm.
And so
Mhm.
I would love, I want to continue my music 100%. I want to write more songs that impact people and really give people a moment to step back and realize, wow, like maybe I am living this life. Maybe I am putting on a fake face every single day.
Wow.
And that's really what I just want with my music is just to be able to impact someone's life out there.
Mhm.
And so, especially now going into college, the new experiences that I'm about to go through, moving out of my hometown, meeting new people, going through more adult situations in life. I can't wait to see how my music is going to expand from, me writing about a middle school relationship to now adult life experiences that I'm about to go through.
Yes.
I love that. So we talked a little bit about the sacrifices. So what are a few moments where you're like, wow, I got to do that?
So definitely one of my first times was singing at the ViStar Memorial Arena down here in Jax.
Oh, wow.
That was really cool. I got to sing for 10,000 people. And I mean, that was just my first time getting the backstage experience. I got a lanyard. I got to meet the players, coaches, and that was a really big deal for me. Definitely releasing my first song, Bonnie and Clyde. That was an overwhelming amount of feedback that I wanted, that I loved to hear for the first time. And, those two things combined, plus all of the other singing events that I was able to go through. I've been able to sing at the Dailies Amphitheatre,
Wow.
TPC, and just continue to spread what I love to do in my hometown. And so, I mean, those are just the two that really have stood out in my lifetime, at least.
So tell us a little bit about the story of us.
So the story of us, I originally wrote it, my first song, Bonnie and Clyde. That had some pretty good feedback, but I really wanted to have this album have a variety of different sounds because I'm someone who I don't like to stay in just one genre, I guess, just one singular sound, because I grew up listening to so many things. My dad is a big Elvis Presley fan, so I grew up religiously listening to Elvis Presley. My mom's a big 80s rock person, so I grew up listening to that. And then just, the music that I've listened to, pop, country, alternative. So I just really wanted something that was people were able to listen to and have a different type of sounds. I have Where I Am, which is more of my summer pop girl boss song, and then I have Live, which is more of my rock sounding, throw it in your face. And then the last song I recorded, Anxiety From You, which is more about my personal relationship and just a love story. So it's just it's definitely an album of variety for sure.
So as you know, a lot of people, they see the artists, but they don't see the teams behind them. In our opinion, teams never get the love they deserve. But on our show, they get some love. So take a few moments to tell us about the team that helped you be who you are.
So I like to consider I have myself a momager. She's my mom and my manager. And it's really just, obviously my dad too, but my mom has been my go-to person the past 11 years that I've been singing. She's the one who has gotten me out there, has made me connections with people. And through that, I've been able to meet amazing people, like a promoter here in Jacksonville who does it all out of the kindness of her heart, Miss Juanita, who books us singing events and who gets us more connections. Nashville Entertainment Weekly, in the first place, who's able to let me have interviews with amazing people like you guys. those people are my team and will always be my team, and they always back me up and support me no matter what. And everyone needs a good support system, and I've been very lucky to have a really good one.
Most definitely. And speaking of teams, we have a third co-host.
Yes, we do.
Our
10-year-old Christopher.
We always bring on, ask a couple questions. Annie's going to go get him. and we've got an almost 3-year-old that when she gets older, she'll be plugged into the show too, because we are a family affairs show.
Oh, that's so cute.
So try to train them here, see what route they want. So that way, if they ever want to go in entertainment, we'll have the connections and everything for them. Because that's been the crazy part. We've met some really cool people, have connected through some great PR people, some great agents, and all that through our show.
Oh, hi, Katryna. So what's your favorite food?
My favorite food has to be a bean and cheese burrito from Taco Bell.
That's good.
What's yours?
Mine is pizza.
Oh, that's yummy. That's yummy. I like pizza too.
He'd eat it all day long if he could. In fact, you had some last night, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Okay, so what's your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show at the current moment is a show called Friday Night Lights. It's a football show, and I'm obsessed with it. I love it. What's your favorite TV show?
Mine is SpongeBob.
Oh, that's a good one. I love SpongeBob. I grew up watching that.
And what's been cool is because now he does watch a lot of Nickelodeon and Disney shows that because we bring on not just artists, but actors and actresses too, that we've been able to bring on quite a bit of people from his shows onto our show.
Aww.
Like we brought on one of the people from Bunked on recently. So, the girl that plays Destiny on there, that was a pretty cool interview. And he got to talk to her.
Aww.
Okay, so what's your favorite movie?
Ooh, that's a hard one. I think I'll have to go with Beauty and the Beast. I love Beauty and the Beast. It's my favorite Disney movie in the whole entire world. What's your favorite movie?
Mine is The Minions.
Oh, Minions. That's a good movie. I like that movie too.
They've built such a crazy strong brand, because even our almost 3-year-old Caitlin, if we're in the mall and walking and there's a Minion in the store, we have to go in there. She don't expect us to buy them, thank God yet, but she wants to see them. But they built a great one.
Okay, all right, bye, thanks.
Yeah, he definitely loves to be on the show. He's been on, we've done over 500 now. He's been on almost every show.
That's so cool, though. He's a sweet kid.
So if you could co-write with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
I am tied between two people. So more modern would definitely be Billie Eilish. I love her music. I love her songwriting. And just the fact that we are so close in age and she's accomplished so much is like amazing to me. And then more like older, I would have to say, for my dad, I would love to co-write with Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Just so that my dad would be able to meet him. I feel like it's a lifelong dream of his. But no, it has amazing music. So
let's bring them back and
make it happen.
So this probably has 1,000 answers, but just think of the first thing that pops in your head. But what's a song that you've heard you wish you wrote?
I Am Changing by Jennifer Hudson and Dreamgirls. I feel like my life has signified a lot of that. I am adopted from the foster care system, and I do have a brother with autism. And just growing up in such a diverse family, because both of my parents are immigrants, I've gone through a lot of different changes in my life. I've gone through, we've gone out, and I like to consider myself an Epcot family, because we have so much diversity. And, as I'm growing up now and I'm kind of seeing, more people out there kind of look at my family. And originally I used to be so confused why I got stares from people. Like my family seemed so normal to me. Like I thought everyone had this. So now I'm growing up and, I'm changing as a person. I'm changing perspectives of the world. And that's something really cool to me.
That's like, like I told you before, so we go to Jacksonville a lot. And one of the churches that we go to when we're down there, we go to a couple of churches.
There's some
but one of my favorites is Celebration Church. And I like that churches because when you walk in, it's nothing but diversity. You see all colors.
You do.
It's truly,
We love
I
it.
believe that's what heaven will look like.
Yeah.
And not many churches can really say that, and it's sad,
Yes.
but that somehow they have got
They got it right.
It's really balanced there when it comes to diversity.
Mm-hmm.
And we love that about that. So back in 2015, we got to interview Kelsey Ballerini before she was Kelsey.
Yes.
And one of the questions I asked her was where she wanted to be in 5 years. And I always like to tell this story before I ask guests that same question, because the answer she gave us back then is to the T of what she's living now. She knew where she was going.
Planned
and
out.
She had it planned out, and nothing was going to stop her. So knowing that, where do you want to be in 5 years?
See, in 5 years, I hope to be in medical school for child psychiatry. I hope to have at least one more album of my own original songs out. And my next album, I really want to focus on more the hard topics in society, something that's really going to wake people up and really think more about themselves, about the world that we live in. So that's kind of my goal. Mental health will always be something that I want to talk about, and I want to sing about, and I want to promote more. The foster care system is something that I would love to be able to talk about more and write about. Those are just things in my life that I'm super passionate about, and that I have made my lifelong goal to be able to promote for the rest of my life.
We had a guest on, I guess, last year, a year before that, from Savannah, and she was in medical school and also rising as a country artist.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the questions I asked her, because she was doing both, I was like, does it scare you that you may have to make a choice one day? And she goes, I think about that every day. She goes, because she sees that her music is growing, and she knows that there's no way she can go to the top of either. You can go one or the other, but she can't get. And she did say that. She goes, but if the music took off, she goes, the other thing would just have to be put on hold, because that's where her big heart is. But her heart was in both. I mean, and that's the hard part about being in music is you have to be all in. Does that scare you a little bit for down the road?
It definitely does. I've already had to make that choice now, sports or music. And that was a really hard one. And, it really just takes one song to start your whole career. It really does. And I've thought about that frequently. Like, what if I am, in my second year of medical school, and one of my songs from 3 years ago all of a sudden starts trending, and people listen to it and they want more music? What decision am I going to make? And, I've thought about that, because I've always wanted to be, one, a child psychiatrist, and two, I've always wanted to have family. I've always wanted to be a mom. And for me, that is something that will never be touched. That is something that will always be my number one goal on my list. And, I have seen amazing artists out there, Faith Hill, who have been able to carry out a family and still be able to live that life and still be able to make it out there as
because
artists.
When you make it big, you can bring your family with you.
You can.
I met this amazing woman, Linda Davis, amazing country artist who sang Reba McEntire. I've met her, and I've met her daughters before, and that was a cool experience, for them to be able to tell me, how kind of life that they lived, even though their mom and their sister had been in the spotlight multiple times. And so hopefully I hope I have to make that decision one day. That would be really cool. If I was
at least getting to make it right.
Yeah.
And, that's like when we had Carlene Carter on. I remember her telling how she would be in their car was their hotel, basically. They would, and they didn't celebrate birthdays or anything because they never knew where they were going to be. And that was just the life she lived. But then look at where she ended up being. I mean, it's just one of them things that you might grow really big, and then all of a sudden you have a daughter or a son that wants to do music, and then they really explode and go to that next level. And all because you didn't quit on that dream.
Yes.
So let's look even further down the road, say 15 years down the road. And let's say that you're a success on a grand scale. Whatever that looks like for you, you've made it. If the person you are today could meet her, your future successful self, what would you want to remind her?
I think I would just want to remind her everything that you've gone through to get here, everyone you've met, every person that has impacted your life, no matter what time in your life it was, to always remind of them and, you know, to be thankful for everyone that has helped you along this journey. And then I think the next thing would be to always still maintain a balance. You know, remind yourself that it's okay to have a little bit of everything. You know, it's still okay to have family. It's okay to be successful in whatever career path I choose to go down to. And just be happy with what you do. If you're not happy with what you do, if you're not happy with the job that you're in, you're going to be miserable for the rest of your life.
Yep.
Your job should feel like it's the best thing in the world. It should be your happiness. And if you're not happy in the job that you're at, then maybe it's time to pick something new.
I wish more people would think that way, because, you know, you got a lot of people that they've been in their 9-to-5 type jobs, and nothing against 9-to-5 if that's what they're truly happy in. But most people are not happy in it.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, they went to college for all those years. They did this and they did that, but they actually did it because either their parents or their guidance counselor, their friends guided them that way, but that was never their passion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was something that my parents.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I completely talked over you.
Oh, no problem.
That was something that my parents and they've always taught me growing up is you need to be happy with your job. It shouldn't feel like a job. It should feel like something that you enjoy doing, that you love to do, that every day you wake up and you're not looking at the clock wondering what time you're going to go home. It should be, how much longer do I have here? What can I achieve in this time?
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. So what are some sources of inspiration for you?
Some sources of inspiration. My brother has been my biggest inspiration. He's 25. He has low functioning autism, and he is my absolute best friend. He is someone who religiously will always show unconditional love for me, who I know will always support me no matter what I do. And he is the reason why I want to get everywhere that I want in life, you know, not even just for myself, but for him. You know, he listens to my music. I mean, he is the biggest critique of my music, because anyone who has a sibling with autism or a child with autism will know that they are the pickiest people in the whole world. And I mean, I'm even like
and we'll tell you
off, or I'm too low or too high on a pitch. He will shut that door so fast. And for me, that's something that I always loved growing up, though, because I knew I was doing something wrong. But then there's times that I hit notes, you know, that he loves, and he'll be laughing in his room, and he'll be, you know, he'll walk out and he'll hug us, and you're just like, oh, okay, we did that one right.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. And what would you like for your legacy to be? What would you like to be most known and remembered for?
I guess I would like to be known as someone who was never scared to be herself. You know, I'm definitely living in St. Johns County. I was typically the only person, you know, that wasn't white. And a lot of times I felt so alone. I never felt really wanted, never felt like I really belonged. But now I wish I could go back and tell myself, you know, it's okay. Like, you are beautiful the way that you are. And I guess I would just want my legacy to be that everyone, just to remind everyone that they are beautiful the way that they are. They are built in God's perfect image. You know, no matter what you look like, no matter what your skin color is, no matter how long your hair is or what color your eyes are, you were built in wonder, and you were built to be beautiful no matter what.
Oh.
And what better day than MLK Day?
Yes.
So, what are your plans for, say, the next 5 years? Which I already asked that. Yeah, I've been a little sick the past few days. And,
it's okay. I was willing to repeat it. Don't worry.
Again, it's one of the things that where, you know, you do so many shows, and then, you know, you got a head cold and you got this, and you're trying to fight through it, and you're on medications, and you're like, I just hope that we go live and do it.
Absolutely.
So as we close out here, what advice would you give somebody who wants to do what you do?
I would tell them to not be scared. I would tell them not be scared. Just go for it. What's the worst thing that could happen? Someone gives you some bad criticism, because with every bad criticism, there's a compliment. I promise, with every bad pitch, every bad song, there's a good song, and there's good people out there that will support you in your music. And it can be scary to give yourself out to the world like that and to let your heart out there, but it's worth it. All the good feedback you will get. and, you know, just to always maintain balance and to remember to be happy with what you do.
I love that. Great way to end. So tell everybody how they can find you.
So all my social media is Katryna Alexis. I have a website, katrynaalexis.com, and all my songs are all found on streaming platforms like Apple Music and Spotify under Katryna Alexis.
And, you know, we really enjoyed having you on the show today. And we look forward to having you back down the road.
Yes.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure.
We appreciate it. Thanks for your time today.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.